Someone, at some point in your life, made you feel like you were not that smart. Maybe it was a teacher, maybe it was your grades, or maybe it was just that quiet moment when you saw others understand things faster than you. And slowly, without even realizing it, you started believing it. You accepted it like it was a fact, like your intelligence had a limit, like this is just who you are. But what if that belief was never true? What if the story you accepted about yourself was completely wrong? Because science has been showing us something very powerful for years now. Your brain is not fixed. It never was. Intelligence is not something you are simply born with and stuck with forever. It is something that can grow, change, and improve over time. The biggest thing that holds people back is not lack of ability, it's the belief that they cannot improve. If you look at some of the smartest people in history, you'll notice something interesting. Albert Einstein was once considered slow as a child. Charles Darwin was an average student. Thomas Edison was even told he was unteachable. But their lives didn't stay that way. Not because their genes suddenly changed, but because the way they used their minds changed. They trained their thinking in a different way. One powerful habit they followed was learning to think without constant input. Today, most people believe they become smarter by consuming more content, more videos, more podcasts, more information. But your brain actually grows stronger when it is given space to think on its own. When there is no phone, no noise, no distractions, just you and your thoughts. At first, it feels uncomfortable. It feels like boredom. But that moment is important. That is your brain starting to work at a deeper level, connecting ideas, creating new thoughts, and becoming sharper. Another powerful habit is not running away from difficulty. Smart people don't rush to find answers immediately. They sit with the problem. They struggle. They try. They fail. And then they try again. That struggle is not weakness. It is training. When you push your brain to figure things out before asking for help, you build stronger thinking abilities. The process may feel slow, but it is exactly what makes your mind stronger over time. There is also a simple habit that many people ignore: writing. Not writing to store information, but writing to understand your own thoughts. Leonardo da Vinci used to write down ideas, questions, and even confusion. Not because everything was clear, but because writing helped him think better. When you write, your brain slows down, and you begin to notice what you truly understand and what you don't. Even a few minutes of writing your thoughts every day can make a big difference in how clearly you think. Another thing that builds intelligence is learning from different areas of life. Many people limit themselves to one subject, but the strongest minds connect ideas from different fields. When you learn a little about psychology, a little about science, a little about how people think and behave, your mind becomes more flexible. You start seeing patterns, making connections, and understanding things on a deeper level. That is where real intelligence begins to grow. Memory also plays a bigger role than most people think. It's not just about remembering things, it's about how your brain connects information. Nikola Tesla could imagine entire machines in his mind before building them. That ability didn't come by chance. It came from training his memory and imagination. When you try to recall what you learned instead of just rereading it, your brain becomes stronger. You don't just store information, you understand it. And one of the most surprising truths is this: your brain does not grow when you are constantly busy. It grows when you rest. Charles Darwin worked only a few focused hours a day. The rest of his time was spent walking, thinking, and resting. Because your brain needs recovery to improve. Lack of sleep, constant stress, and endless scrolling do not make you smarter. They slowly drain your ability to think clearly. Sometimes, doing nothing is actually the most productive thing for your mind. The truth is, none of these habits are complicated. They don't require money, special tools, or a perfect background. The hardest part is letting go of the belief that you are limited. Imagine living your whole life thinking you are average, never trying new things, never pushing yourself, just because of a story you believed years ago. That story was never real. And the best part is, you can change it anytime. Your brain, right now, no matter your age, is still capable of growth. Not because of motivation or positive thinking, but because that is how your biology works. You are not stuck. You were never stuck. You were just never shown how to use your mind properly. So if you ever felt like you were not the smart one, remember this: you were not lacking intelligence. You were lacking the right understanding. And now, you have it.